Hey guys, Brad Gilmore here. Want to give a big shout out to our title sponsor, Walker Texas Lawyer. If you or a loved one have been injured in an accident, whether that be a car, truck, motorcycle accident, or some kind of other issue, hit up Walker Texas Lawyer at 713-552-1117 or walkertexaslawyer.com.
Oh, Brad, what have you done now?
Broadcasting live from Houston, Texas, and around the world. TV host, best-selling author, and radio personality Brad Gilmore brings you a collection of conversations with stars from movies.
Matthew McConaughey.
Brad Gilmore.
Mark Wahlberg.
Hey, how are you?
The legendary Mr. Christopher Lloyd. Christopher, how are we doing?
I'm doing good. Great introduction.
Television.
Jimmy Fallon joins us this morning. Jimmy, how you doing, my friend?
Good morning. Thank you so much, Brad, for having me. I appreciate this, bud.
Kelly Ripa.
Brad, thank you for having me.
Comedy.
Jay Leno joins us. Jay, how you doing?
Hey, Brad, what's going on?
Chris Tucker is in the building. Chris Tucker, good morning to you.
Hey, Brad. Good morning to you. How are you?
Gabriel Fluffy Iglesias.
Good morning.
Music.
Lola Monroe.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
The legendary frontman of AC/DC, Brian Johnson, joins us right now. Brian, how you doing?
Good morning, Brad. What looking to talk to me, funny lad.
Grammy Award winner Maya joins us.
How are you?
And more. This is The Collection. Now your host, The Boat.
Brad Gilmore! And she is joining me right now to talk about the brand new movie Fresh Kills, which is playing here in the Houston area. She's the writer, director, and stars in the movie. Ms. Jennifer Esposito joins us now. Jennifer, thank you so much. Congratulations on the movie.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
I know this film has lived with you in one way or another for a very long time. You got the idea for this movie quite some time ago. Can you kind of tell me the inspiration and origin story of Fresh Kills?
Sure. I grew up seeing some of this with the young women that I knew. Their dads were part of this world, and saw a lot of violence from the young women especially, and it really stayed with me. So I chalked it up to, I guess they're mad because their family is in the mafia. I guess I would be as well. And then when I got out into the world and realized there were limitations for me as being female, and then getting into the business, and realized all of us at some point in our life were put into a slot or a box, and that limitation exists with us. So that anger that I remembered with those young women felt like my own, and I realized it was more about choice. It was more about the boxes that were put in, and it was more about them being born into something that they didn't choose. So that's where it originated for me, but I always like to say about this movie, it's really about anybody who's been stuck in that space. It's about finding a voice in a world that tells you not to have one.
Right, and I think that the premise there that you just described is such an interesting concept to explore. And is that why you felt, though, given the real life situations that you found yourself in that kind of gave you the germ of the idea, is that why you felt like I need to write this film?
Yeah, because I just was getting so tired of seeing what there was for me in the business and for others, and I was just so tired of hearing myself complain about fully fledged characters for women or just seeing stories that resonated with me. I just got so tired of being told, no, you're supposed to be this. So I thought, well, stop complaining. No one cares. Do something about it. So I started writing this on and off for years. And then it got to about 5 years ago where I said, 6 years ago now, that I said, okay, I'm either going to quit or I'm going to do this. And I sat down and never stopped.
You sat down and wrote the movie, and then, I think that just the whole process of this is so fascinating to me, because you have the idea, you write the film, and then where does it come to you say, I need to direct it as well?
Not only do I need to direct it, I need to finance it, because no one cared.
Right.
I did go to a very big studio and had a meeting with a top exec, a female, and I had a male that wanted to direct it at one point, and she said to me, "No way. Do not let anybody take this from you. This is yours. I can't fund it for you because you're a first-time female writer-director, and we don't do that. And but you should go and figure this out on your own because this is yours." And she really put that in my head that, wait a minute, this is mine. So when I did get someone to come along and say, here's $5 million, but I want this guy to direct it, I said no. And then it was, if you get a big name lead male, then we'll give you $5 million to make it, which I didn't need. And I said, well, what about the girl, just for the girls, because I knew I wasn't going to get a big name male star. And they said no. And they thought, they said girls just don't pull in money for box office. And I thought, this just cannot be still. This just doesn't make any sense to me. So it just became a mission of, and then, getting little investments here and there. And then finally thinking, you know what, why am I asking everyone to bet on me? I have to bet on me. Just bet on yourself. So, it's not something that anyone wants to do, but you know what? I thought, why not? How many people have told me, oh, you're not supposed to invest in your own thing. And it's like, I hear you and I get it. But if I didn't take this chance on myself, no one was going to. And I knew that. So I'm proud of my decision.
Oh, no. And then look, now it's out in theaters. It's playing here in the Houston area. Again, Fresh Kills. Can you tell me what was going through your mind the first day on set? Like after going through all those meetings, going through the battles, finding the financing, writing the script, making the decision to direct, and you're sitting there on day one of shooting. What were the emotions you were feeling?
Holy hell, what did I do? I have to say, I'm all about like being in the fight. Like, okay, I got to get there. And then when I got there, and I had everything planned out, and I had seen this movie in my brain for years. And I had my first shot, we were ready to go, and the first AD says, you have to yell action. And I know this. I've been on sets for 25 years. And I was like, action? She was like, louder. And I remember thinking, holy, like, what? Can you do this? And I remember looking through the monitor and seeing my first shot. And I cannot even explain the feeling of like, oh my God, that's what I've been thinking. That's what I've been thinking for like 15 years. This is the shot. And I thought, you could do this. You could do this. You got it. But it was scary.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was frightening. You made this big commitment. Everything's on you, and you're able to see it through. Do you find, because I've interviewed several people recently who are actors and directors and, directed, the projects that they were in. Do you find that an actor has a different sensibility when it comes to their direction with other actors, and let's just say a director who doesn't have on-camera experience?
I think so. I think there's a big difference. Listen, they're wonderful directors, but being an actor, you really do understand and able to see the process, and so. It was very much this was based on character. And a lot of times, the directors go in for a shot and character and story are secondary. So I really made sure that the characters were fully fleshed out. And that was where everything else was being dictated to rather than the other way around. So Odessa Azayan, who plays Connie, came over to me the last day of shooting, and she said to me, "This is the safest and the most respected I have ever felt on a set." And I thought that made me really, really happy.
Wow, so, it made it all worth it, right?
Exactly. And I think if you make people feel safe and comfortable, they're going to give you their best work, and they absolutely did. The performances in this movie are just extraordinary. They really are.
Again, the movie's called Fresh Kills. We're talking to the writer, director, star, Jennifer Esposito. here right now. The movie is playing in the Houston area. You know, I would be remiss because I feel like every project we work on or every interview that we do or whatever the case might be, we take something from it and we learn from it and we apply it to our next venture. I'd be remiss to tell you that if I didn't tell you that Spin City is one of my favorite shows of all time. And I also love the movie
That's
Taxi.
awesome.
That you're in both of those films. But Michael J. Fox, I've heard a lot about him being someone characterized him as the ultimate number one on the call sheet. That he was just like a great guy and made that set comfortable. Or whatever project he was in. What are your memories of working with Michael? Would you say that's an accurate description?
Yes, absolutely. He's actually the one who really hired me. I went through a process. It was my first big job, and I went through a process, of course, like anybody would with auditioning. And it wasn't until he got in the room with me and we read together, and I saw him really get me. And he actually said to me further down the road after I got the job, he said, "You remind me of me the way you work," because a lot of people on that set, brilliant cast. Like, they had a very prepared way of working comedy. And I had no clue of that. I was studying drama for 3 years in school before that. So it just came very natural to me, the comedy part. It just was all about the way it sounded, and so it was a very organic process, and that's the way he worked, and that was a compliment I will never forget because he's just such a pro, and yeah, we had a lot of fun on that set, so I appreciate you liking it.
Well, again, the movie is called Fresh Kills. It's playing here in the Houston area right now. I suggest everybody go see it, support the film, and Jennifer, it's just been a pleasure to speak with you this morning. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much. Thank you.